Okay.
好了 there may not be people
That's okay.
based on my track record. Usually when I have a new thing up,
Yeah.
yeah. So if there's nobody, just you and me, we'll just have a chat about your last trip to China. 好吗？
That's fine. That will work.
我们会说中文，也可以说英文，好吗？
可以。
好。那如果没有别的人，你可以告诉我3件和中国有关的事情，2个真的，1个假的吗？
2个真的，1个假的。
对。
可以，但是可能我不会在中文，但是我
你试试，你试试。
试一试。OK。
嗯。
一个真的，找一个出租车
出租车。
很难找一个出租车，在上海。
你是说在上海，在街上很难
对，
找到出租车
出租车很难。
啊
OK，第二个，在一个花园，我做采集。
啊哈，在一个花园还是在一个公园？
一个花园，他们告诉我不是一个公园，是一个花园，但是
好。
很多人在这个，我想一想是一个公园，但是我的阿姨说，哦，no，这是花园。
花园，花
OK，
园，
好的，
好，
可以。
对对对，所以你在一个花园打太极。
对，
对
采集。
对，好。好，
第三个是在中文，我用我的手机买东西，每次没关系。没有用现 I didn't use cash。
没有用现金。
现金没有用现金，我用我的手机都买，没问题。
你用了阿里 Pay 对吗？
阿里 Pay 对。
很好。
两个是真的，一个是假的。
一个是假的，所以我会让可能有别的学生以后会听让他们先猜一猜，我要想一想，我不知道哪个是假的。
你不知道。
对，我觉得第2个是真的，你
对，
可能对。
真的对，是真的。
第一个是假的。
不是不是，只是真的，
是真的。
只是真的。出租车没有了，现在在哪里？
所以都是滴滴。
滴滴都是滴滴，对。
都是滴滴，没有出租车了。
没有出租车，很少，他们有，但是很少也用滴滴。一个人来了，很快，他的车子很漂亮，很新的。出租车不是很新的，很新的，有一点脏。
是的，是的，是的。
对。
所以第3个是假的。
第3个是假的，这个用手机很难。我每天一次，我不会用手机买东西。他们说，哦，我支付宝是阿里 Pay。
对对对，支付宝。
他们说，哦，支付宝，哦，我们不用。我说，哦，我的微信我不会用，我不是中国人。
你不可以用。
不可以用。
对对
对，我不
对对对对对。
可以用。但是我说，哦，每天我一个朋友说 OK 没关系，我做，然后我给他钱。有一点麻烦。
对对对，是的I'm really really surprised Alipay didn't work for a lot of them.
A lot of stuff. If something about the credit cards. 信用卡，他们说
信用卡。
and many of the storekeepers would tell me, oh, I thought it would work, and I'd be like, oh, not for me, and it wouldn't work. And then I would try to change the credit card that I'm using inside Alipay over and over, and then maybe sometimes it would work.
Nini, so I see what's going on now. So with the Alipay, that's not working because you linked with your own cards.
Yeah.
So some merchants may accept it, a lot of merchants doesn't.
I wouldn't say a lot. It was maybe maybe one time a day it wouldn't work. Sometimes it would be 3 times a day, but sometimes it
But
would
it's
not be.
annoying. But it's
Yeah,
annoying.
but you never know. So
对对对对对，
it's worrisome for restaurants because you pay after.
对对对。Well, I guess I never thought about you actually just rely on your credit cards. So I would definitely say to avoid situations like that.
Yeah,
Like ask a friend to send you money, like Chinese money to your Alipay, so you have a
you can't
balance.
you can't have it. You can't have a
Uh,
balance in Alipay. Nobody could give me money. I couldn't put money in it. I couldn't.
that's weird because that's how I do with Chris. Chris right now in China,
Yeah,
他不可以用 WeChat. Same, right? For
right.
foreigners, you just completely can't use WeChat to
Uh-huh.
pay. So I send Chris money on Alipay, and he
On
uses
Alipay. I
Alipay.
wonder.
Uh,
So when I was trying that, I was only trying it with Chinese people in China. Like I'm like, oh, I could give them cash and you could put money in Alipay, but they could
Yeah,
not
yeah,
do
yeah.
it for me.
Huh.
We could not
Interesting.
exchange any money together. I had to use cash to pay people back if they
对
paid.
对对对对对对。Oh, sorry, Nini. I thought it would be helpful.
It was helpful. I mean, Alipay is the only way, or cash. The one banker told me that it's illegal for a merchant not to take cash. And I
对对
thought,
对对对
I
对。
don't think they know that.
Or they care.
They don't care. They're like, no, no
对
cash.
对对对对，是的，是的，是的。
But I
对。
mean, even a small person selling fruit on the street will have a Weixin or a Shifu Bao
支付
barcode
宝。
for you.
对对对对对，是的，是的。
Everybody.
对。好
Interesting.
，interesting。
Yeah.
上一次你去中国是什么时候？
Xiang said the last time?
对，the time before the summer。
Oh, 14个年以前。
哦，14年以前。
14 years ago. It's
对对
very
对对。
different. 很不一样。
很不一样，对对对，很不一样。那这次你去了中国，你去了多长时间？
这次我出1个月。
1个月。
一个月加1个星期。
啊哈。对，我记得你是6月去的中国，对吗？
对，6月，对。
对的。
6月1号我们到了。
对的。那这一次去中国是为什么？
哦，这次我给我的女儿一个礼物，去中国21
对对。
adventure for my daughter. She's a graduation present.
Oh, yeah, that's a wonderful present. I would
Yes,
love
and
to have something like that. 对对
yes,
对。
and also to meet up with our family friends there, 阿姨 and 叔叔 and 哥哥。
还有哥哥。
哥哥。
哦，是阿姨和叔叔的孩子吗？
对，他们的儿子。对。
孩子叫他哥哥。
我们都叫他哥哥。Lily 和 Jack 叫他哥哥，他们小的时候说哥哥，然后现在我们都说哥哥。
好。
他们也叫我妈咪，我是妈咪。
哦，很可爱，很可爱，非常可爱。
很可爱。
这个哥哥多大了？
他是34岁。
34岁的哥哥。
对。
大哥哥。
大哥哥。对。
对。那你在中国1个月1个星期都做了什么？
做了什么？第1个星期我们在我的阿姨叔叔的家。
对。
然后我的女儿她开始学中文，在浦西，所以我帮她教这个学校。每天3个天我跟她一起走，去她的学校。
对对对。
然后她说 OK， 我会自己做，然后我开心，我可以旅游，我可以玩一玩。
他可以自己去学校。
对，他会自己住。对。然后我和一个朋友，我的exchange student's mom，怎么说？
交换生的妈妈。
对，交换生的妈妈。
对。
他和我们有2个星期，我们去大理，去沙溪，去香格里拉，去丽江，都在云南。
对，我知道。你知道 Chris 在云南对吗？
在云南，你说湖南？
没有。Maybe it's the auto correction. It's 云南。
Oh,
Chris
he's in Yunnan. Oh, it's so pretty. The
嗯，
mountains are so beautiful.
对，Chris 很喜欢山。
很喜欢山。哦，我也很喜欢山，
我也是。
很凉快，很
哎，
舒服。
对。
对，
在我的家安徽、合肥、庐江很热。
很热，上海很热，
对。上海太热了。
很不舒服。
所以 Chris 说我先去云南。所以现在
对，
他在云南。
现在在大理还是哪里？
他在昆明，现在在昆明。
昆明。哦，我没有去过。
没关系。我10月去中国。
10月。
对。
哦，October。
是的。然后 Chris 和我去我妈妈家。
哦，你妈妈家很好，
嗯
在哪里？
在安徽。
安徽，就是
嗯
热不热？No，10月可以，
10月，对，10月应该不太热。
太热，很
嗯
好，
嗯嗯。
可以。
对，去我家以后，我们再去云南。
OK，
我们去丽江，去大理，
大理。
去所有的地方。
我很喜欢沙溪，沙溪，
沙溪有什么？
沙溪有很多农场，也他们的Old Town，how do you say 古镇？Old Town，
古镇，对。
他们的古镇很老，很漂亮，很好玩。他们有一个 market，I don't know，just market。
你是说菜市场 like market for food and vegetables or like
No, it's for everything. This place was on a trade route and it has
对
had a market on Friday
对。
for 600 years.
You know what? I need to write that 沙溪 down.
Sashi, yep. It
沙
was
溪。
very beautiful. We just really liked. I could have stayed there much longer.
I will spend the days for you
Yeah.
in 沙溪。对。所以你去了云南，还去了哪里？
云南这个是2个星期在云南，然后回家去上海。
对，是的。
对，看一看我的老的家，在上海的家。这个很好，这个我的家差不多一样，但是这个地方都不一样。这个neighborhood，
对，这个社区，这个小区，小区。
unrecognizable。是
有什么变化？
还有很多新的房子，不是房子，是 apartment buildings。
新的公寓。所以
新的公寓，
有很多新的高楼。
对，很多
新的公寓。
很多新的，但是他们还有一个地方，我们记得一个地方，这个地方做 manicure pedicure and hair，a salon。
对，可能叫美容院。
美容院。
美容院。
这个一个地方一样，也有一样的老板。我们都认识。我们说哦，我知道你，
我认识你，我认识你。
他说哦，他记得我的女儿。我说这个小丽丽长大了。
哇，
真的吗
？10几年。
对，我们去这个地方3次看一看，和他聊天，他记得。
对，是的。 你在中国的时候常常说中文吗？
常常 try speaking
不
Chinese
，no，常常是 like often。
often. Oh,
对
每
对，
天每天
每天。
用中文。
啊
对对对，在
啊啊，
我的阿姨、叔叔、哥哥他们都不会说英文。
嗯，很好。
对，我们每天说中文。
嗯，你感觉怎么样？
可以。现在我知道我的阿姨、叔叔、我的哥哥，他们都说上海话，他们
嗯，
都说上海话，跟我他说普通话，
对。
但是他们用一个上海的 dialect，
哦，你
accent
说上海口音。
口音，上海的
对对
口音
对对对，
在
嗯嗯
普通话。
嗯，
也现在我知
对，
道丽丽在她的学校，他们说普通话，
嗯嗯嗯
然后我的阿姨说有一点不一样。呃
嗯嗯，
，for
你
yeah
是
for example，我说
嗯
哦，我的阿姨说哦，这个很好吃，很好吃。
啊
但是
吃，对。
我一个人说 no，不是不对，是很好吃，很好吃，不是
对对对对
吃。
对
但是我的
对对对，
阿姨说很好吃。这个
对对对，
有一
是
点不一样，但是
对，
我
嗯
我我不知道。
你懂，你听得懂。
我懂，我听得
嗯
懂，但是
嗯
如果我们去一个饭店，我们一起吃饭，跟我的阿姨的妹妹、姐姐他们的家人，然后他们都说上海话，我听不懂，
都听不懂，听不懂，
听不懂。
我也听不懂。如果对，如果听别人说上海话，我也听不懂。
对，
对对，
但是每个城市有一个话。
对，是的。Chris 在昆明，他昆明人不说是，昆明人说是。
是
like
，OK，
你是学生吗？
对，
啊、他说你是学生吗？
差不多。你听得懂，但是然后你不
对对对
知道什么是对不对。
对，你说的对，没错。
对。
啊，that's a real world Chinese for you。
Yeah, right.
对对，就是everybody actually speaks with the accent strong or
Accented, yeah.
mild。
Yeah. I
对对
mean,
对
it makes sense, but it makes it a little complicated to
，and
understand
confusion。
responses. You think
嗯
you are listening for a response and you get something completely different, and you think, maybe I
对。
don't speak Chinese at all.
Don't make them make you think that way. But when you're learning Chinese, eventually you do need to expose yourself to like all those different accents.
Yeah, so you
Talk to
can
more
understand
people.
everybody.
对
Mhm.
对对对对，or at least more comfortable. You say, okay, I got
Yeah.
this.
Yes, it would take so many years, I think.
啊 It looks
Maybe.
like you survived China in that a month and a week. No.
I did. I survived. I survived. I thrived. It was fun.
很好，非常好啊。So, this time I know you were in China, more than 10 years ago, right? This time you
Yes, more
went
than
back
10
to
years.
China. So, is there anything like come as shock to you, I guess? Besides you said the changes of, there are more buildings. Mm.
It was actually pretty refreshing. I was one of the only foreigners that was there. They haven't
Mm.
had foreigners visiting for about 3 years.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So
对
things
对
had
对
changed a lot because they weren't, I mean, even in the touristy areas, there weren't
啊，
very many
嗯嗯，
foreign tourists. There were tourists from China. Chinese
对对
people were
对
traveling.
对，
And so the tourist places were still busy, but
嗯
they they had a different selection of tourist junk. Like it was different. It wasn't catered for the
cater to
foreigner.
foreigners。
So that was nice. And also like um in the evening, if you're walking around and you find some live music, instead
对
of every other place being catered to Westerners, every single place was for Chinese people and it was all Chinese
啊
music. And I
啊
thought that was pretty refreshing to see that that had shifted in a
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of fantastic way. Like,
Yeah, sometimes I forgot COVID was there and how COVID actually, like you said, I mean, I just feel like China just opened itself, this, recently. 对
yeah,
对
it
对。
was recently. There were many people who said to me, "Oh, a foreign person. I haven't spoken English in 3 years. I forgot my English." And I was like, "It's
嗯
okay. We can speak some Chinese, or you can
对对
practice if you
对。
want."
And how do people react when you do speak Chinese?
Oh, they're very friendly about it. They always
嗯
say, "Oh, wow, you speak Chinese. It's amazing." And
嗯
I would try to, especially in Shanghai, I would try to throw in a few Shanghainese words that I
Shanghainese.
had learned, so I could say goodbye in Shanghainese. We could say, "Oh, they wait." And they really feel shocked if
Wait,
you
wait, wait.
say,
Can you teach us? How do you
"Oh,
say
再见" is "they wait,
Ziwei?
they wait." Yeah,
Ziwei?
and they get really just even the most simple things, they feel so surprised.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and they were always asking my ayi if I was Russian.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe Russian people are better at learning languages.
No, no,
I
no, no,
don't
no,
know
no, no.
what's going
It's
on.
there are more, I guess, more Russians in China
Oh,
too.
really?
Because Russian is closer, and Russian is also, or Russian, Ukraine, like all those countries, they're supplying a lot of like models to China,
Mhm.
the Chinese
Oh,
market.
okay.
So they
Well, that
probably see
wasn't my
more.
situation.
对对对。It's just like Chris, when we were in China in 2018, there will be kids asking him like, what, is he from UK? Because
Okay, yeah.
嗯，
Yeah.
对的，对的，啊，
Yeah, they were always friendly about it and happy to
嗯嗯
try to communicate with me in general. I mean, there are some people just don't care. Of course, it doesn't matter to them at all. And then some people are like, "Oh,"
对对对，
and it's
like 外国
usually
人
when they're overhearing me chatting with Ayi. If they're
啊，
overhearing that, then they feel really surprised about that. It's not
对对对对，
just my, bad accents asking
嗯
them how much does it cost, 哦，多少钱? That
You're
that
fine with
didn't
多少
impress
钱？
them very much, but
啊。So they didn't expect you would speak Chinese with someone. 对，
they did not expect it, that's for sure.
嗯
Yeah.
嗯
So it
嗯，
was a
对对
little
对。
surprised, but maybe mostly because they haven't seen foreigners for so long, I think.
是的，是的，是的，啊，好, so, how did you prepare for your trip?
Well,
嗯
after finishing Duolingo,
Yes.
I contacted this great teacher named Crazy.
Oh, I wonder who is that?
That's you. And you helped me prepare language-wise really, really well. I feel like that was really important to just have that conversation practice
嗯嗯嗯
before going because you just forget so much in such a long
嗯，
time.
对对对对对对，是的，
Even the
嗯
vocabulary from Duolingo is not going to help that much when you need to remember how to converse.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Converse
So
is the hardest, right?
yeah, it is hard. And
对对对，
then of course we got the VPN that
嗯。
only, Express VPN didn't work
You need to
except
get
for
this
date.
word out because I think somehow, I definitely think ExpressVPN is pouring a lot of money in marketing. So whenever,
Hmm.
I did so much research on, VPNs
Yeah.
all the time, you're going to see people say, oh, that's the best VPN ever, ever. And I used it. It's failing me like so much in China. And yeah, so now it
Yeah,
happened
it
to
was
you too.
really, and as I asked them for help to try and fix the problems, they
Mm,
would just keep telling me our best people are working on this. We've been doing this forever and we'll have it fixed in a jiffy. And you really believe them for many more days. And
mm.
then you have to switch. And I mean,
Yeah.
that cost me a lot of money because I was having data roaming
Data
charges
roaming. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it was
Mm.
only on ExpressVPN, I could only use data. I couldn't use any Wi-Fi, so I had to use data. And then
Mm.
Astral VPN worked for both. It worked for both
Yeah,
most of
yeah,
the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, so
And
I
one
know
thing
it.
that was amazing is that you
Mm,
can get internet and
mm.
data everywhere. Like I never ran out of service, even in the mountains in Yunnan.
Oh,
I mean, how did they
that's
do
nice.
that? I run out of service 2 times before I get to my parents' house here in Colorado.
Well, I mean, they probably built a lot of tunnels, no?
I guess they did. I mean, that's amazing to me that such a big country can have such good service. But I mean, if they're trying to go cashless, I guess they have to.
You're right. You're right. Oh, I mean, I'm going back to China in 2 months, and I'm still a little bit nervous, even though it's my own country. But 5年, I haven't been back, so
It's gonna be so different.
yeah,
Yeah.
so much have happened. 对，
Yeah.
嗯
And
So
then
that's
of
why
course
I
also getting the
嗯
Alipay set up
嗯
and the
嗯嗯
WeChat
嗯，
set up,
对，
which you have to have a Chinese bank account to have WeChat, which is too bad.
and
Or
getting a Chinese, but even getting a Chinese bank account for you, I don't think it
I
would be
couldn't do
easy.
it. I tried.
Oh, you tried? Okay, so
Oh
now we
yeah,
know.
I tried, and they said I would have to have a work visa, not a tourist visa, to get a bank account.
Okay. Now we know an answer. Don't even try that way.
Don't even try. And I also was like, well, can you add me onto IE's account? Because I could just pay her back in cash. And they're like, of course not. Okay.
I know. At least for Chinese people, right? They can do something like pay for your 亲人, like your relatives, or pay for somehow, but maybe you still have to be a Chinese person or
I
have a
think
Chinese.
so. I think
对对
so.
对对对
But I
对，
did the Schwab account worked for getting money out of the machines. That was great. Thank you for
对对
that
对对。
advice.
Charles Schwab, yeah, and that's for anyone like who is traveling
For traveling for
outside.
anyone, that's right.
The
Yeah.
travel internationally, yeah, Charles Schwab card is
Yeah.
really good.
And the visa, I mean, of course I had to get the visa, which was really complicated. It was a hard process to go through and expensive. And I think,
How expensive?
oh, it was, what was it? $140, I think.
That sounds about right.
About $140. But I think because they told me you had to go and have an appointment. So you have to go to the consulate.
Consulate.
And my closest one from Colorado is Denver to Chicago.
Oh, 对,
So
yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
yeah, but also like I think that you can actually hire a service to do it for you. They can go to the office for you. There was somewhere in the visa in the building. It looked like it was a service that they could do it for you, and they would bring your paperwork in there. And I think that that would still have been, even though it would have been a large fee, it would have been cheaper than flying us both.
Yeah, and using your own time too.
Yes, and I think that only one of us had to go. I think I could have brought everything for both me and Lily. I think that after everything is said and done, either
Okay,
get a
so
service if you have to travel very far, get a service, or just one person has to go.
Yeah, so that would be for when you say one person, so even if you're going with like both adults, so
I think
can.
only one person has to go. I think you could bring all the paperwork because I think if the service can do it for you.
You're right.
Yep. I think even I could have asked my cousin in Chicago to take everything there, and maybe that would have been a big favor because it was complicated. But
yeah, yes.
if you did know somebody near the consulate, I think they could do it for you.
Think about that. That's a possibility. To save yourself, run to the consulate.
Yeah. I mean, who lives near the consulates?
Well, if you live in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I think LA, Washington, D.C., and Chicago.
And New York.
New York? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, there's a few. I know there used to be in either Houston, but maybe they closed that office.
I think they might have.
But it's definitely a hassle to get the visa.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so is there any, I guess, complications during your trip? I know you mentioned the VPN, right?
Yeah, the VPN was difficult. Also, the phone, my phone, I had to finally, I just gave up and got a new SIM card for my phone because it wasn't working. And my daughter figured it out first because she had her friends at the school that had been through it because the phone just wasn't working right, everything. So I ended up getting a Chinese SIM card, which was fine, and that worked just fine. But then you cannot you can't really get into any of your like bank accounts in America because they will send you a code to your phone number, which you can't get. So It got a little
Mm-mm.
complicated.
Okay, so I see what you mean. So it does make it easier when you get a local SIM card,
Yeah.
like a SIM card. Mm-mm. And how
Mm-hmm.
how did that go? Like, is it easy to get a SIM card for you? Because I know.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
easy. I mean,
mhm.
it became a little bit of a problem for me because the first place I went to was maybe a smaller outlet
Oh,
for,
mm-hmm.
like a smaller outlet. And she was like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Let me try your SIM card in my phone. Look, it's working." And when she put my SIM card in her phone, it deactivated my SIM card entirely. So I couldn't use it at all ever
Mm,
again. Like
mm-mm-mm.
even when I called my provider in America, they were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, that we assume that it's been stolen at that point and we will have to send you a new one." So I didn't have a SIM card until I was back in America for a week.
Oh no.
Yep, it was a big problem. And so but when I went into a proper China Telecom building
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
and they just figured it out for me, I got the new SIM card and your
Mm.
phone has to be unlocked. So I still owed a little bit of money on my phone when I
Mm-mm-mm.
bought it from my provider.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, "Well, you have to pay off your phone and then we'll unlock it and then you can get the new SIM card." So there
Oh my
were
gosh.
things that
So
made it
yes. Mm-mm-mm.
complicated.
Complicated.
I was
Mm.
very happy that I had the local people there to
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
help me, or, I thought, well, even I can't go too wrong here with these people here to help me, and I can always pay them back in
You're right.
cash,
Yeah. Mhm.
and they can make phone calls for me and stuff like that. So that
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. You
helpful.
can figure things out. I know how hard it is actually without any help. Like, this is
Yeah.
what I want to come next is, if anyone is going to visit China for the first time, what, I guess, advice or suggestion would you have for them?
Um, for the first time,
Mm,
I mean, if you're going for the first time and you don't have any friends there, then you would need to have reservations at hotels and guest houses. And they will do because you have to register with the police no matter where you
mm.
stay overnight.
That's right. Mm.
So when I stayed with the IE, we had to go to the local police station and figure it out and let
Mm,
them know.
mm,
And they didn't know what to do because they haven't had foreigners in 3 years. And that was tricky. So as long as you have hotel reservations, the hotel or guest house will figure it out, or the youth hostel, they'll figure it
yeah.
out for you,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine.
Mm.
And I think also using ctrip.com
Mm.
was a really good way to make reservations. And
Yep.
of course, having Astro VPN, that was the only one that
Mm-hmm.
really worked. And you have to get the VPN before you leave.
Oh, yes, that's a really good advice, because right now I'm kind of happy I'm not in China with Chris, because
Yep.
I am the person here who can do all the research, send him, the package to install it on his computer. Because you're right, it's hard even just to get the VPN running when you are in China. So definitely do
Yes.
it
So I mean,
beforehand.
even if like I had the bad VPN was the Express VPN, and at least I had that VPN that I could get the new VPN that did
Mm,
work.
mm,
At
mm,
least I had that.
mm.
If I had had none before going, I think you have a really big problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you
Yeah.
have to have
So
something.
yeah.
对对对。
And I think for the language, I mean, if you're a beginner, I think you can still get along without any language, but at least having a good set of phrases that you can use. Where is this and where is that, and how much does something cost? I mean, unfortunately, the responses you get, you never really you you know
Mm,
if they speak in their own accents from
mm,
their
mm,
own
mm.
city,
Mhm.
you might not understand it. But using hand language, sign
对
language,
对对对对，
it's okay. And a
嗯
lot of times people just show you numbers on their phone if you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
understanding it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I feel like you can still do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can definitely get by as long as you can make reservations on your phone for this place and the next place. And the trains.
Yeah, yeah. So did you take the train? I suppose you took lots of trains.
Yeah, well, when I left 14 years ago, they only had one maglev train that went
Mm.
just a little ways from Shanghai to like somewhere
to the
only 20
airport.
minutes away or something.
To the
And
airport.
now they have like over 20 lines, high speed, all over the country. It's all over the place. So yeah, we took the train, the high speed train to Suzhou, and Lily took it to Beijing and then down to Guilin.
Oh yeah.
And we took airplanes to Yunnan because that's really far.
Oh yes, I didn't realize how far Yunnan is
Yeah,
when Chris and I were calculating, the time to travel to Anhui, travel to Hong Kong, and all that. I was like, oh my
so
gosh, I
far.
guess Yunnan is far.
It's
Right.
really far, but there also is a special lane for people without an ID card. Everywhere you go for transport, if you don't have an ID card, well, what we did first is we stood in the line with everybody until we got to the thing where you can't scan your ID card because you don't
And
have
then
one. And they say, oh, go to this other line and wait in that line again. And you say, okay, thank you. So
Nini, I should definitely told you that. Sorry, because Chris and I had exact same thing. Chris was so pissed off because I
yeah,
can just go to the machine, get my ticket with my ID card, and every time he has to go stand in the window until we find the first time. And
yes.
now after we learned that, every time the two of us will go stand in. Sometimes there are more than two lines and see who is faster.
And see who's faster, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
so
you
that
had to
was
do that too. So they still haven't improved on that.
no, that's the same. But I mean, it doesn't seem to matter too much. They still had a machine to read my passport.
Wait, so you are able to use the machine to? Oh no, or you have to have
It's a
the
special
staff.
lane, and it looks
Uh,
like the same machine in some places, so I don't know what's so hard
okay.
about it,
So
but
so so you're saying it's still a machine. It's not actually a window with people in it who do the thing for you.
yeah, sometimes sometimes it was a person that just looked at it and compared it with your ticket, and then
Hmm.
but usually it was a machine, and you put your passport upside down,
Uh
and
uh
it
uh
scans
uh.
that, and then
uh.
it says okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
So
still,
so
I don't know.
so maybe a little bit of improvement because last time he can't even scan his passport.
Oh,
He'll
okay,
have to
yeah,
go.
maybe
He
it's a
has to
little,
go to the window.
yeah, it's a little better, and the security was intense. Like it was like
Mm, 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 mm.
every single bag is going to be scanned at
Good,
every
good, good.
single place, like not just at the big train stations and the
Uh-huh.
airports, but also every single DTS station,
Metros, yes.
every metro
Subways.
station. Every bag goes through, or you have to open your bag and they look inside your small bags
Right.
to make
Mhm,
sure that you
mhm.
don't have weapons, I guess.
You know, I had the opposite experience as you because I lived in Shanghai and I know that's something they do. Every day I take the subway. Of course, they
Yeah,
check. I'm used to it. And then I was in Chicago the first time, and I was taking the Chicago subway, well, the L train,
yeah.
and I went in, and then there's no security. There's nothing. I was so how is this happening?
And this is the country that has the real danger.
I know all the weapons and
Yeah,
everything.
really.
Yeah. So I
But
was
I
really
thought about the
surprised.
cost of
Mm,
having
mm.
three security guards at every
Every
single
entrance.
entrance to every single subway station in the entire city of Shanghai. It's
Hmm.
astronomical in price.
Job jobs.
Jobs.
对
Yeah,
对
so
对，
that
哎，
was kind of amazing.
嗯哼，
But no,
yeah，
after I watched Lily travel by herself for 2 weeks
嗯
and heard her experiences, I think that, I mean, because she's still a beginner, very much a beginner in Chinese, since she still
嗯嗯
managed
嗯
to
哼
get
嗯哼
around. And she did have one problem when her phone was dying. It was at 2%, and
嗯
she
嗯
was
嗯
not home yet. And
嗯。
you know,
So,
she
but she figured it out, no?
she did, but it was, she ended up having, the niceness of strangers is what helped her out in the end. She had
嗯
bought a charger from somebody, and then that didn't charge her phone, but it charged his phone. So he's like, I think your phone is having a problem charging. And she was like, oh, maybe I need to buy a new phone. So she bought a cheap phone, still wasn't working. And she's like, but I just need to get back to my youth hostel. And so he was just like, do you have any money? Like, because he had already, like, she could pay with Alipay
right.
for the phone and the thing, but not really to. And she
Any
was like, I have one kwai.
一块一块。
He had one, she had one, and she did have a reserve of like 200 kwai in the bottom of her backpack just in case she needed it. But also,
Emergency
he was
cash.
nice, and he just grabbed his moped and he took her home, which was
Oh,
really sweet.
nice.
And in China, it's safe. It feels
うんうん
safe, those kind of things
うん
there,
うんうん
as
うん
opposed to
In that
here, you'd
sense.
be like, not on your life. I'm not getting on that moped.
So you mean in a sense of security, and you may feel safer in that way,
Oh,
no?
I feel much safer. Yeah,
嗯
there. Personal
Right.
safety.
对对对，我知道，我知道，对的，好，and really really thank you very much. And I see there are at least 4 people. It looks like two people listening. So if you have any questions for Nini, you can put them in the comment section. 对的，So how do you feel you come back? Because I feel so depressed when I came back from Turkey.
Oh, I don't know. It was really the last week in Shanghai was so hot and sweaty and muggy that I just was very happy to
Wanted
get back to my
to
mountain
leave.
home. And
Mm.
like, even though I really am amazed by everybody, the cooperation that it takes and the patience that it takes to navigate a city as big as Shanghai, everybody going every which way, and everybody is really so polite and they're so organized and they're very patient and they're very tolerant, and they're, that is amazing, and I appreciate that so much. But
Mhm.
also, boy, getting back to my rivers and my mountains and my bike and my friends, like that was also very relieving to just be like,
Mm.
"Ooh, back to normal for me," right?
Right. You don't have to like be tense and pay attention and
Yep.
try to navigate the new system like all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time, right? And
Mm,
just to be able to communicate in your own language is, of course, such a relief as well. Because yes, it's super fun to
mm.
practice your other language
Right.
for a month. I mean, I learned so much; it was so great. But also, it's exhausting.
对。You don't
You get so
realize that
many
when you were
things
there.
wrong, and you have to laugh at yourself so much.
But I guess when you say wrong, you mean just like mishaps here and there, no?
Oh yeah, for sure. Or just misunderstanding. I used WeChat a lot with my Ai and with Sue, just to, we would get to a roadblock in our conversation, and I would just send her the word in English, and she would see it and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, 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 of course," and that would help us to get through that. Or
Ah.
I thought, or sometimes she'd be like, "Do you understand?" And I'm like, "I think," and then she'd
Mm.
be like, "Oh no, you don't," and then
Okay, so nice. So you actually used like WeChat to actually help you to tackle some of the hard points when you find it hard to
we did. I sometimes use Google Translate if
mm.
I knew I was just gonna explain a concept that was too hard for me to say, and it was a whole concept sentence as opposed to just a vocab
Mm,
word. Because I can
mm.
talk around a word until someone understands me, but not a whole concept
Whole
phrase.
concept, that's too hard.
That's too hard.
对。
So I might translate that, but if it was just one word, we would send it by WeChat and then beep beep, and they would be like, "Oh, okay, okay,"
Okay, and then
oh,
move on.
min bai, 啊。
很好 I'm so happy you had a blast in China. 对的，
We
然后
did. I think you're going to
然后
enjoy it too. It'll be fun for you to see how even 5 years can change a place that is bent on progress.
I told you I'm still a little bit scared. Excited, also a little bit scared.
Oh, you're going to have so much fun. I think it's amazing. It's amazing to see a place progress as fast as that.
对。And not to mention, my family and
Of
friends are all
course.
there too. 对。
And that was the best part, was reuniting for me, and it's not even my real family. It's just my, chosen family.
对。But you have, stay in contact, right? And, always
Yes,
talking to
yeah,
each
we stayed
other.
in contact all those years. Well, and IU was there when Lily was born. And then
Mm.
we left when she was almost 5. So it was a very strong bond that IE had for Lily. And
Mm.
so they it was beautiful to see them reunite and
对。
have Lily be like, "Oh my gosh, this person on the other side of the world loves me." I'm like,
It's
"Oh
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
she does, for all
对.
these years."
You built that for her.
Yeah, for sure.
You should feel
Absolutely.
proud, Nini. 对对 Yeah. And 谢谢你 Nini. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for doing this. This was fun.
Yeah, this is more fun than I expected. And for whoever is gonna watch this later, if you have questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll answer for you, or I will bug Nini for it too. So 谢谢你 Nini 啊，那
Sounds
现在
good.
我们就再见啦。
Okay, say wait.